Welcome back. Well, you've probably seen preteens in your city riding around on these electric scooters or these e-motos. They kind of look like motorcycles, but they're being called bikes. We've been talking for the last couple of years about the safety concerns around these. Take a look at this video out of Champlin yesterday because it's pretty incredible. It shows two juveniles who are riding on what we call an e-moto together when they cross directly in front of traffic on Highway 169, right in front of cars going about 55 miles per hour. Clearly, the officer then pulls over and gives the juveniles a little chat. Neither rider, by the way, was of legal age to ride, and neither was wearing a helmet. We thought it was worth talking about, so we called up the Champlin Police Department and invited them to come on and talk about what they saw and their concerns around e-scooters and e-bikes. Champlin officer Ben Nelson joins me now to chat about it. Ben, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for the opportunity, Courtney. I appreciate it.
Okay, so first of all, talk to me about what happened yesterday, what you witnessed with these two juveniles.
So I was going northbound on Highway 169. We had just come out of a construction zone by 109th when I noticed this bike on the shoulder, and it appeared to be going about 20 miles an hour, and it looked like it was going to go and make a right-hand turn onto 114th. So as I got up behind them, I was ready to turn my lights on and have a conversation with them when all of a sudden they made a left turn right in front of traffic, as you saw, and were nearly struck and killed.
Talk to me about your, I'm sure like most communities, you see these all over the place. What are your main concerns when it comes to the safety of these?
I think a lot of parents don't understand how fast these go. Most kids learn to ride their bikes with their training wheels and their parents right behind them. But I think parents these days are just glad to get their kids off a screen and get them outside. And so the bikes are easily available. They're relatively inexpensive. And I think parents are just glad that there's another alternative for kids to get to their sports and school activities. But again, they're not wearing helmets, most of them, and they don't realize how fast these bikes are capable of traveling.
There were several laws presented to the legislature this past session to try and get some more rules around these bikes. They kind of fall into this weird gray area when it comes to the law, helmets and age requirements and such. There was no significant e-bike law passed this session. What would you like to see happen to kind of rein this behavior in?
I think cities are taking the initiative in this. They're passing some laws. For example, in Champlin, it's required that e-bike riders under the age of 18 wear helmets. So on a local level, I know cities are taking those steps. Ultimately, though, it's one of the things that we can educate parents about this. We can do our part to enforce. But ultimately, these kids have to take personal responsibility and just realize how dangerous these e-bikes can be.
You know, a big holdup in the legislature is that lawmakers, it was hard for them to distinguish between electric bicycles, with pedal assist, and these e-motos. And how do we classify each one to make the law clear? Do you come up against that as well?
I think that is a difficult thing. The laws are clearly written, but so many of these bikes fall into two separate categories. For example, the one that we had yesterday, the teenager told me it was capable of going 45 miles an hour, which would clearly make it an e-moto. However, it also had pedals, so it was similar to your typical electric bike with pedal assist. So it was kind of a crossover between the two, and figuring out which category it falls into can be challenging.
Yeah, and it sounds like lawmakers did arrive at a decision that the pedals is what makes these different from a bicycle. I know those e-motos can go like 45 miles per hour. You mentioned that parents don't really, you don't think, know what their kids are riding when they get on them. But what about the fact that these kids didn't have helmets on? They had a friend on the back. What kind of conversations should parents be having with their teens before they buy them this $3,000 device?
I think if they're watching this video today and they've purchased an e-bike for their kid, I would hope that they would sit down and have a conversation with them, a lengthy conversation. And parents want to do that, for all the money that parents invest in sports and spend hundreds and thousands of dollars to make sure their kids have the latest cutting edge stuff and to make sure that they're safe playing these sports. I think they need to take the same approach when it comes to these e-bikes and make sure their kids are of the appropriate age and make sure that they have the appropriate equipment. Helmet's pretty basic. Everybody knows that.
I'm curious, in this situation, did you call the parents? I mean, is that something that you guys do when you catch these kids acting dangerously on the bikes?
Yes, it is. So I talked to both of them. Both of them, I don't think, realized how close they had come to being struck and killed. But I made it very clear that either their parent was going to come and pick them both up and take the bike home, or I would be impounding it.
And did that happen? Their parents came and picked them up? Did you get to talk with the parents?
I did speak with both parents and received a favorable and obviously a very concerned response, given the fact that their kids had almost been killed.
Yeah, we're just seeing so many injuries with this. Really concerning to see those kids just turn right into traffic. I really appreciate you making the time. Thanks so much, and thanks for the hard work that you guys are doing there in Champlin. Officer Ben Nelson with the Champlin Police Department. Thanks so much.
Thank you, Courtney. Have a good day.
We're going to take a quick break.